We're going to be working more on rational expressions here, but this time we're going to actually be solving equations. So some of that stuff that we've learned in the previous sections we're now going to be utilizing. So let's get started. Alright, we have 3 over 4x is equal to 9/8. So this is an equation, and we want to solve for x in this problem. In other words, we want to find a number that we can plug in right here so that both sides are equal. So there's a lot of different ways of doing this. And I'm going to start with first off eliminating these denominators here. So we no longer have a fraction, and by doing that I'm going to multiply both sides by 8. And this way I can get this 8 right to cancel out. So we're going to be left with 8 times 3 over 4x is equal to 9. But now look at this. 4 goes into 8 2 times. Okay? And 2 times 3 is 6. So let's just do that. Right? 4 goes into 8 2 times, and 2 times 3 is 6. So I can just write 6 over x here is equal to 9. Alright, now I want to get this x from down here up here. And I'm going to do that by multiplying both sides by x. And this way these x's here cancel out, and so you're left with 6 is equal to 9x. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways of solving for x, so you might have a preferred way. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by 1/9. And that will get rid of this 9 here. Okay. So x is equal to 6 over 9. Now of course we can reduce this down. Okay. And I'm going to write it in the more standard form where the variable's over here on the left hand side. 3 goes into 6 and 3 goes into 9. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 2/3. X is equal to 2/3. Now a way to check this, and we're not going to do this every time, but you would go back. Let's just rewrite the original here. 3 over 4x is equal to 9 over 8. So you would take this 2/3 and plug it in for the x here. So we'd have 3 over 4 times 2/3, and that's got to equal 9 over 8 now. Well, let's see if it does. So 4 times 2 is 8 over 3. Oh, and that's all over. Forgot. Write this 3 up here. But remember how we'd handle this fraction here. You would take 3 times, you flip this guy. So you see we've already gone through all these steps. And what do we get? We get 9/8. So that is the correct solution to this equation. Okay. Let's see here. And of course, always forget that. We have 5 over x minus 3 is equal to 2 over x. And we want to find the solution set. In other words, we want to solve for x in this problem. Alright, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to multiply both sides by x, and then I'm going to multiply both sides by x minus 3. Right. So I'm going to multiply this side by x first. We're going to get rid of these denominators. That's what we're going to do. So by multiplying by x, I can get those to cancel out. So now we're left with 5x over x minus 2 is equal to 2. Now I'm going to multiply both sides by x minus 2. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Solving for x. So that's going to get them to cancel out, so we're left with 5x is equal to, I'm going to go ahead and distribute this 2 across, so we have 2x minus 4. Now, I'm going to take this 2x over here to this side, and of course its sign changes when you take it to the other side of the equal sign. Okay. So we're going to be left with 3x is equal to negative 4, and then we want to multiply both sides by 1/3, and we end up with x is equal to negative 4/3. And then of course you know how to check that. You just take that number, negative 4/3, and you would plug it back into the original. The negative 4/3 in the left hand side should equal the right hand side. Plug negative 4/3 in for x. Easy enough. Well, easy enough for me anyway. If you're learning this for maybe the first time. Let's see what's next on the agenda. Alright. Well, what the heck happened there? What was that? Okay, let's say we had x plus 2 over x plus 3, and that is equal to 1 over x plus 3. So we want to solve for x in this problem. Now I'm going to start taking shortcuts. This x plus 3, it's down here in the denominator, so we can bring it up into the numerator over here. So this becomes x plus 3 times x plus 2 over x plus 3, and that's equal to 1, right? So you just take this diagonally up over here. But we have an x plus 3 in the numerator and an x plus 3 in the denominator, so those are going to cancel out. So now we're just left with x plus 2 is equal to 1, and you can take this 2 over to the right, so this becomes 1 minus 2, and of course that is x is now equal to negative 1. So your solution set is negative 1 is the solution. Alright. 3 over 2x minus 4 is equal to 2 over 4x plus 1. And we're wanting to solve for x in this problem. So I'm going to take the 4x plus 1 up here. And I'm going to take the 2x minus 4 up over here. Right, so the shortcuts help out. So now we're going to, what are we going to do? Let's distribute the 3 across here, so we end up with 12x plus 3 is equal to 4x minus 8. Now I'm going to take the 4x over to this side of the equal sign, so this becomes 12x minus 4x, and take the 3 over here, and so that becomes negative 8 minus 3. And so now we're left with, we have a 12x minus 4x, that's going to be 8x, is equal to negative 8 minus 3 is a negative, is that a negative 11? Yeah. And of course, we're going to take this 8 diagonally down, so negative 11 over 8. So that is negative 11 over 8 is our solution to our equation up here. Alright. So as you can see now that I'm starting to take shortcuts, and there's only a couple different ones, you know, where you take these things, if they're down at the bottom, if they're going to the other side of the equal sign, they go diagonally up, right? So, okay. And one other thing, if you've got like a constant here or whatever, and you take it to the other side of the equal sign, then its sign changes. So it's positive 3, take it to the right, it's negative 3. That's really all you got to remember when it comes to the shortcuts of solving these equations. Alright. Save you lots of time. Moving on to the next one, we have 1 over x squared minus 1 over 6x is equal to 1/6. So I need to get a common denominator. Well, I don't have a 6 down here, and I need an x over here. So I'm going to say 6 over 6 times, we'll just do this step at a time, I guess, minus 1/6 x is equal to 1/6, and so I'll rewrite this, and so you end up with 6 over 6x squared alright. Now I need 2 x's right here, and of course what I'm going to do to get that is I'm going to multiply x over x here. So I'll go ahead and write a 1. So I'm going to multiply x over x equals 1/6. And so now we have common denominator minus x over 6x squared is equal to 1/6. Now we can go ahead and join these together, and you know what, I think I'll just write that over here. So we have 1 minus x over 6x squared is equal to 1/6. Now we're going to do the shortcut thing again. I'm going to take this 6 diagonally up, so this becomes 6 times 1 minus x is equal to, and then I'm going to take this 6x squared diagonally up, so this is 1 times 6x squared, and now I'm going to go ahead and distribute this 6 across, so we have 6 minus 6x is equal to 6x squared. Now I'm going to take this 6x over, so we have 6x squared. Remember So now I'm going to take this negative 6x over to the right hand side, so that becomes positive 6x, and then I'm going to take this positive 6 over here, and it becomes negative 6. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor a 6 out. I'm seeing something that I left off up here, so we're going to need to make that correction. So you got to be really careful about things like this. It's all about pay attention to detail. This it looks like I wrote a 1 here, but this should have been a 6. So we're gonna go through in red and correct this. So I should have carried the 6 down, and then this would have been a 6 right here. 6 minus x over 6x squared is equal to 1/6. And so that means that this would be a 6. And 6 times 6 is 36. So I'm just going to run a red line through both of these. Alright, sorry about this, but this is all part of math. This is the learning experience. So we have 6 times 6 is 36 minus 6x is equal to 6x squared. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this stuff over onto the left. So we have 6x squared plus 6x minus 36, and we set all that equal to 0, and we're going to scoot to the right here. Now what you can do is, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here because I've run out of room on the whiteboard. I'm going to factor out a 6 out of this. So we're going to have 0 is equal to x squared plus x, factoring 6 out of 36, so we have minus 6. Now we can go ahead and factor this piece here. Didn't leave with much room. And let's see, 2 and 3, but we need a positive, so it's going to be a positive 3 and a negative 2. So now what we're going to do is set each one of these factors equal to 0. We don't have to worry about this 6 here. So we have x plus 3, we set that equal to 0, and we solve that linear equation and we get negative 3. X minus 2, set that equal to 0. Solving that equation, we get x equals 2. So our solutions are going to be 2 and negative 3. So that is our solution set, 2, negative 3. And if we were to plug 2, negative 3 back into our original equation, right, plugging 2 in, left hand side should equal to 1/6, and plugging negative 3 in for x, this side should also equal 1/6. Alright, let's look at another one. 3 over x minus 1 is, let's see, plus, I was about to say equal, 4 over x plus 2. That's going to be equal to 16 over x squared plus x minus 2. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get a common denominator between these two fractions here, and that means I'm going to end up writing an x plus 2 over x plus 2 and then an x minus 1 over x minus 1. So we have x plus 2, and you know what, I think I'm just going to shortcut this. X plus 2 up here plus, because you need to learn the shortcuts, right? And then this ends up being over x minus 1 times x plus 2. I think they call that cross multiplication or something like that. Anyway, and of course we don't want to forget what's over here. Now let's go ahead and distribute this 3 across. So we have 3x plus 6 plus 4x minus 4. And that's all over. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and multiply this stuff out down here in the bottom. So x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Then we have negative 1 times x. So that becomes just x. Right? 2x minus an x is just an x. And negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Now you notice that both of our denominators here are the same on both sides of the equal sign. Let me go ahead and simplify this out. We have 3x and 4x's are like terms, so that gives us 7x, and 6 minus 4 is 2. Now, because both of our denominators are the same, there's no sense in even rewriting that stuff, because if I multiplied both sides by x squared plus x minus 2, you would just get them to cancel out. Alright, so no need, just drop them since they're both the same. So now we have this linear equation and we want to solve for x. So we have 16 minus 2 and we're going to be left with 14. So then we multiply both sides by 1/7, so x is equal to 2, right? 7 times 2 is 14. So 2 looks like that's the only solution to our equation. Plugging 2 in and the left hand side, plugging 2 in and the right hand side, and they should both be equal. Alright, moving right along. We're going to have 3x plus 6 over 2x plus 5, and that's going to equal to negative 1 over x. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2x plus 5 diagonally up in this direction, and I'm going to take the x directly diagonally up in this direction. So this is just kind of a shortcut way of doing it. I'm going to go ahead and leave that negative 1 there. So taking the 2x plus 5 over to the right hand side of the equal sign means that we're going to take it up diagonally. So this is going to be 2x plus 5, and bringing the x up, we have 3x plus 6. Alright, I'm going to now multiply, distribute this x across, so this becomes 3x squared plus 6x is equal to, distributing this negative through, so we have negative 2x minus 5. And now I'm going to go ahead and take this stuff over to the other side of the equal sign, so we have 3x squared plus 6x plus 2x. Remember, we take it over, the sign changes, right? And that becomes a plus 5. And that is all equal to 0. So now we want to collect up our like terms, write this thing in standard form. 6x plus 2x is 8x, and then plus 5. And that's all equal to 0. Alright, so now we want to factor this. Well, the only thing that we can possibly do is write a 3x and an x, because 3 times 1 is 3. Alright, those are the only two factors of 3, 3 and 1. So 5, it's either going to be a 1 or a 5 or a 5 or a 1. We want to get a positive 8 here. So if I were to put a 5 here, that would be 3 times 5 would be 15, and 16. No, that's not going to work. So we're going to put a 1 here and a 5 here. And of course, we're going to put a plus and a plus. Right? 3x times 1 is 3x. And then 5x and 3 and 5 is 8. And 5 times 1 is 5. So now we set both these factors equal to 0. And we have x is equal to negative 5/3, right? Bringing the 5 over, you get negative 5, and then moving the 3 diagonally down. And then, of course, this one here, x plus 1, setting it equal to 0. And we have our other solution. So our solution set is negative 1, negative 5/3. That is going to be our solution to our equation, which is right here. Alright. Well, I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but what are all the possibilities when we have an equation? Well, we could have one solution. You could have two solutions. Well, you could have many solutions. Or you could have 0 solutions. And there is another one, you could have an infinite number of solutions. So possibilities, right? No oh, well, then there's no solution. Well, I guess that falls under no solution. When we start graphing these things, when we start graphing these not really equations, but I guess I won't mention it, but we can put a picture to a lot of this stuff and kind of see geometrically what's going on. So let's look at another one here. Alright, so this will be a little different. We're going to have x over 3x minus 2 minus 8 over 2x plus 3, and that's going to be equal to 2x squared minus 24x plus 18 over 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. First thing I'm going to do is get a common denominator over here. So that means I'm going to do that shortcut thing, do the cross multiply deal. 2x plus 3, I'm going to multiply that by the top. So we have x times 2x plus 3 minus 8 times, that's right, that would be this denominator here, 3x minus 2, and that's going to be all over, and we're multiplying both these together, 3x minus 2 times 2x plus 3, okay, and that's going to be equal to all this stuff up here. I guess, you know, we just write it in. Plus 18 over 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. Alright, let's simplify this. Distribute this x across the top. We have 2x squared plus 3x minus, distributing this minus and the 8 across, so that's going to be minus 24x plus, you know, minus, and then this minus here is going to make that a plus 16, and we're going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and multiply this stuff here. We have 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 3 is 9x. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4x, and negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Alright. And we're not going to rewrite this over down here, just bring it down. Okay. We're still trying to figure out simplifying this stuff. So we have 2x squared, 3x minus 24x, that's going to be a negative 21, right, negative 21x plus 16 over 6x squared plus 5x minus 6, and I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this. 2x squared minus 24x plus 18 over 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. Now we notice that both of our denominators here are the same, so we can just go ahead and drop our denominators. So we have 2x squared minus 21x plus 16 is equal to 2x squared minus 24x plus 18. Now, of course, these guys here cancel out. Negative 21x, bringing this 24 over. And we're going to take the 16 over to the right hand side, so we have 18 minus 16. So we want to simplify this down. This becomes 3x is equal to 2, therefore x is equal to 2/3. So the question is that our solution to our equation? Let's go back up and take a look at something before we get too excited here. If I were to plug in 2/3 into the denominator here, so if I plugged in 2 over 3, the 3's would cancel out and we'd have 2 minus 2 is 0. And we can't divide by 0 in this problem. So therefore that cannot be the solution to this equation. But that was our only hope. But hope is lost now. This equation here has no solution. No solution. So we need to make sure that we check our solutions, our possible solutions, to see if they can be a solution. So remember, we plugged it in, but we got 0. It doesn't matter where we plug it in. We plugged it in here. We got 0 in the denominator. So that means that 2/3 is not in the domain. But bottom line, this equation has no solution. Alright. This is going to be the last one. So let's make it a good one. X minus 7 over 2x squared plus 9x minus 5 minus 2x minus 6 over x squared minus 25, and that is going to be equal to x plus 1 over 2x squared minus 11x plus 5. So we want to get a common denominator here. Now we've got the difference here of squares, of two squares. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to factor both of these and see what we got, because we may have a common factor. So I'm going to rewrite x minus 7 over, so this is going to factor to 2x, and it's either going to be a 1 and a 5 or a 5 and a 1. Let's look at this. 5 were here, that'd be 10. Minus 1 would be 9. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to put 5 here and a 1 here. We're going to make this a plus and a minus. Alright. Minus 2x minus 6 over, so this is the difference of two squares. That's easy. That's going to be an x minus 5 times an x plus 5. Alright, we have a common factor. We have an x plus 5 here. So that's good. And I'm just going to rewrite this stuff over here for now. That may factor, but that's not our focus at the minute. So we don't have an x minus 5 over here. So I'm going to do a diagonal thing and multiply the top by x minus 5. So we have x minus 7 times x minus 5 minus, and we don't have a 2x minus 1 down here, so that means we're going to multiply 2x minus 6 times 2x minus 1, and now we're going to write the denominator, which is pretty nasty, because we're going to have 2x minus 1, x plus 5, and x minus 5. So we're going to have 2x minus 1 times x plus 5 times x minus 5. We got to remember what all this is equal to, right? It's equal to the x plus 1 over the 2x squared minus 11x plus 5. So I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and multiply out this stuff up here. So x times x is x squared minus 5x minus 7x, and then negative 7, so that's going to be positive 35. Let's go ahead, I'm going to put a big parenthesis here, go ahead and multiply this out. 2x times 2x is 4x squared minus 2x minus 12x and then plus 6. And what we want to do now is simplify this stuff, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Let's see, we have an x squared minus 4x squared, so that's going to give us a negative 3x squared. We have a negative 5x minus 7x, that's negative 12x. And we got too much going on here. Let's just one step at a time. Plus 35. I've already used this x up. Let's see, this is going to be 12 and 2 is 14, negative 14. Distributing this negative across, that becomes plus 14x and then minus 6. I think what I'm going to do now is just simplify this part. So negative 3x squared negative 12x plus 14x is a positive 2x, right, and then 35 minus 6 is going to be a plus 29, right. Whoa, 29, not 26. We don't want to make any mistakes at this point. Alright, so that turns out to be the numerator. Hopefully. I didn't make any mistakes. And I think what I'm going to do here is erase some of this stuff. Alright, went ahead and erased and moved that up. So this was all going to be over this stuff down here, which is going to be 2x minus 1. And I'm going to multiply this out. That's just the difference of two squares. X squared minus 25. Multiplying this piece out here. And then we have x plus 1 over still 2x squared minus 11x plus 5. Alright. Alright, where are we at? Hope someday we can finish this problem. Man, that's supposed to be a plus sign right there. That is bad. Okay. Where in the world are we? Good question. Where are we? Man, this is a nasty damn problem. Let's see. Trying to figure this out. That's the easiest way of doing this. I guess I'm going to need to multiply this bottom out. I don't know. Let me try factoring. let me factor this and see what we get here. X plus 1 over, because that could help out a little bit. Let's see if this thing factors any. I got a feeling it's going to. Hopefully there's an X plus 5 in here somewhere. See if I put a 5 here and a 1 here and a minus and a minus, because that's going to make that negative 10. That'd be negative 11 and positive 5, yeah. And that means that there was an x minus 5. If we remember, there was an x minus 5 down here. Which means that I'm going to end up rewriting all this. So we have negative 3x squared. If I can get that 2 to written in. 2x plus 29. Okay, this was 2x minus 1, and we had an x minus 5 in here, so all we're going to be left with is an x, an x plus 5. I'm going back to factoring this thing. Alright. Well, because we have an x minus 5 and an x minus 5, if I multiply through by x minus 5s, those would cancel out. Oh, wait a minute. We have a 2x minus 1. I'm just now noticing that. We have a 2x minus 1 and an x minus 5, so we can actually rewrite this. Okay, good. Things are looking better now. Thank goodness. I was starting to wonder. 9. Leave something off up here. Well, I just about made another mistake. 29 right there. It happens. Plus 29. Now I'm going to rewrite this. 2x minus 1, x minus 5. We don't have to write that. This becomes x plus 5 is equal to x plus 1. So now I can go ahead and diagonally take this x plus 5 up. So this becomes x plus 1 times x plus 5. And then of course we have the minus 3x squared plus 2x plus 29. I just about did it again. Multiplying this out, we have x squared plus 5x plus x is plus 6x plus 5. And of course we have, rewriting this again, we can take the 3x squared over to the right. So that's going to be 3x squared plus x squared is 4x squared. Taking the 2x over, that's going to be minus 2x plus 6x is going to be 4x. And bringing the 29 over, and 5 minus 29 is going to be negative 24. Now we need to factor this. We can actually pull a 4 out of there. Yes, we can. And I'm going to bring this up. Alright, we're just about finished. I'll be glad when we get done with this problem. That's the way math is. We've been working a lot of easy problems. But alright, I'm going to factor a 4 out of this. So rewriting, factor out a 4, make life a whole lot easier. We have x squared plus x minus 6. So we want to factor this piece here. So this is going to end up being probably, turn off the background noise, Okay, 6 is negative. Probably going to be a 3 here, a 2 here, plus, and minus. So we set each one of these factors equal to 0 and solve for x. So it looks like x is going to be negative 3 in this case. And then we have x minus 2, and looks like x is equal to 2. So our solution set, I'm going to write it right up here, is we'll put a parentheses here for set notation, negative 3, 2. Now remember, we got to always go up, so negative 3, 2. Can everybody remember that? Negative 3, 2. Right. So remember, we plug negative 3 in here. We can't get 0 or negative 2. So that's something we got to keep in mind for that to be the for that to actually be the solution. And I'm actually looking for a piece of paper, making sure that's right. Yep, negative 3, 2 is the solution. Alright, thank goodness. I think we're done with that, and I'm done with this section. Moving on now.